Alright, so we have moved over to the garage or the engine bay portion of the project. So basically what we're going to have to do, this is on the right side of the engine here. So as you guys may know or may not know, the 2020 4Runners do have this relay fuse box sitting right here in the engine bay. And there's this bracket here, kind of takes up the hole that normally you would be able to put a mount tray there. So this was the reason why I went with the SDOffRoadMT mount tray that Derek made. And so what we can do is we're going to take this off, and then we're going to put that shelf bracket there, and then we're going to put the relay bracket back over it. And then down here, I don't know if you can really see that clearly, but there's two holes right there that you're going to put the support on. And then once you have those two pieces, then you'll be able to put the mount tray up on top of this, and it's just going to sit pretty much right here. You're going to have the ARB compressor over here, and then all the other modules like the switch panels, the terminal block, and the bus bar or SafetyHub 150. But before we do that, I'm just going to clean up the area a little bit. And then over here we have a firewall. I don't know if you can see that clearly, but just to the right of these wires here, there's that firewall right there. We're just gonna have to pull that rubber piece out and then punch a hole, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna take that out, and then I'm gonna fish the wires in, because you do want to do that before you put the mount tray on. If you put the mount tray on before, you're not going to be able to access that spot right there. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to clean up the area, and then we'll get started. Alright, so before we even want to begin, we want to make sure that we disconnect our battery from the vehicle, just to be safe and all of that. So make sure you guys do that. This is very important. Alright, so I finally got the shelf and the support on. This one did have a little bit of trouble getting on because you have to have the relay box and the cover back on. So I kind of left this a little loose so that I can kind of bring this in slowly from the outside, going in like this. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tighten up the shelf here, and then I'm going to put the mount tray on there. It should line up with this hole here, or maybe that might be the ARB compressor. But yeah, I'm gonna do the mount tray now, and as you can see, I did have the wires go through the grommet, and you just have to make sure that the rubber piece here is on the wire. I did forget, and so I had to pull the wires back out and put this rubber piece on, but now it's on there, and I can just put it in there, and we should be almost good to go. Alright, so I did tell you guys at the beginning of the video that I wasn't going to use the ARB manifold, but it looks like I will have to, because when I did have the mount tray on here, I tried to add the air chuck, and it didn't fit with the hood closed. So the manifold kit does come with a hose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this elbow onto the compressor, and then I'll run the hose down to this section over here. This is going to be where the manifold's going to be mounted. SDOffRoadMT does offer that, so if you're going to go that route, you could definitely get the mounting from him. But another thing to note is that I did have to take the mount tray off because I just didn't have enough room to work in there. So spent a lot of hours putting the tray on there, but it does have to go off in order for me to put the manifold there. So let's go ahead and do that. So I was actually able to get the hose into the air compressor using the provided, I'm not sure what this is called, but it was provided in the manifold. So I attached the hose down to where the manifold is, and there's a little bit of clearance when I put a hose here. You kind of have to lift this up, but it will go in there. It does clear the hood when I close it. So this is what it looks like when it's all installed. So right now the next step is to go over and do the switch panel pro in the cabin. Alright, so for this section we are going to take the white and blue wires, going to attach an add a fuse to this here, and then this fuse will be going into the fuse box under here. One thing to note, when we use the add a fuse, we do want to add at least a 2 amp fuse up top here, and then under the fuse box we're going to take out the current one and then put it in there. What we're going to do is we're going to take the white wire and we're going to attach it to the tail light. And then we're going to take the blue wire and attach it to the ignition, which is 15A. I've seen other places say 10A, which is the second to last column here. But I've also heard that the P outlet, which is the last column, second to last, should work as well too. So I'm going to do that one. And then for the tail light, it's up here on the first column, and it's the first one. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to take this piece off. This is the OEM one. I do have the already pre-cut one from SDHQ. That way I don't have to do any cutting. It's already done for me, and I also get to keep this if I ever want to remove the switch panels and bring it back to stock. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've got the Switch Pro switches installed on the SDHQ panel here, and I would have to say that this was probably the easiest part of the installation. You just have to take this piece off and then replace these from the OEM panel over to this one, and then this panel already had a pre-cut area for the Switch Pro, so I just put that in there, plugged all the wires back on, and now we are good to go. So let me go ahead and turn on the vehicle, and you guys can see that it will light up when I have the ignition on. So we got the light bar installed, and we have the air compressor. I don't recommend turning this on if you just have it in ignition. The vehicle should be on fully, because I did learn that the hard way. My battery ended up dying when I turned this on and was using the air compressor. So I ran out of blank space, but I also knew that I was going to install some chase lights, so I added this one here. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. Maybe I'll add some camp lights, but otherwise I probably would have had them blacked out for now. Alright, so I do have the two added fuses into the 4Runner's fuse box. I know that earlier in the video I mentioned that I was going to have the white wire in the tail light fuse and the blue wire in the ignition. However, I did run into some issues and ended up using the accessory fuse instead, and it's on the bottom here, but it's the third column, last one, and the white one did work fine. So that's really all I wanted to mention, because earlier in the video I mentioned that the blue wire was going to go into the ignition or the P outlet one, but it wasn't working for me, so I ended up using the accessory, and now the Switch Pro powers up. Alright y'all, so that pretty much concludes the installation video for the ARB Dual Compressor and the Switch Pro panel. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions about the installation at all, go ahead and comment down below. I will be answering all of those questions. And if you guys were wondering why in some parts of the video the vehicle was red and why is it now quicksand, well, the video that you're seeing was filmed in 2 different times, and in between the time I did do the vinyl installation myself, I also installed the Icon Stage 7. I used to have the Stage 2, but the Stage 2 needed to get serviced, so I decided to just go ahead and upgrade to the Stage 7, and I think I might have a video for that. I just have to put it in the editing process to see if, you know, I have the content that I want to go ahead and post it. But going forward, there's going to be a lot more videos of me traveling around, camping, overlanding, and stuff like that. So feel free to subscribe if you guys want to. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.